Superior has recently announced that it will be getting rid of its early access pass, and to play the game you'd need an NFT character. In this video I'm going to be going over what each character is good at, their strengths and weaknesses, their skill set, and which one is currently meta. So let's get to it. Just a quick note on the early access pass: if you do have one, you don't have to worry. They have said that if you infamy any of the characters at least one time, you will get that character dropped as a NFT. So let's head over to play and then go to private lobby. Okay, so here we are in the private lobby, and as you can see, there are currently 3 characters you can select from to play with. We have Ronin, Nomad, and Murmur. So we'll start off with Ronin. Ronin is the bruiser character. Ronin has mastered powerful overshield abilities, so he can engage in battle just the way he likes it, up close and personal. Ronin has the highest health out of the 3, Ronin has the highest armor out of the 3, Ronin has the highest melee damage out of the 3, and is generally an in-your-face, like up close and personal tank melee bruiser. Next up, Nomad is a sharpshooter, a cracked shot, and master hacker. Nomad is able to hijack orbital satellites to call in massive laser strikes from the sky. So think of this as your Gears of War Hammer of Dawn, where you're just raining laser strikes from the sky, and those deal insane damage. And with some of the skills later on, you can have more than one going, and you can make it 5 times longer. Nomad is a glass cannon at a distance pew pew type character. She has the highest range damage out of the 3. She has the lowest health, lowest armor, but the most kill potential. Next we have Murmur. Murmur is the trickster character, and this is Chaos's character if you watched my video a couple days ago where the rank 1 superior challenge runner gave you his 5 tips on how to rank better. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out after this video. So Murmur tosses out holograms to confuse and misdirect her enemies, enabling her to attack them when they least expect it. So Murmur is basically your run and gun type character. You always want to be on the move, you always want to be dashing, you want to create as much holograms as possible to distract your enemies, and while doing that you'll be able to get the buffs that come with dashing and flanking, which are Murmur's bread and butter type playstyle. Murmur has average health, average armor, the highest mobility out of the 3, and fairly good at range combat damage. So let's head over to Ronin's skill tree while I go over it and give you a brief overview of what you need to look out for and what each character is built for. So this is the current build I'm using. Each character gets a ultimate skill. It's called an overdrive. Ronin's is called beatdown. So you gain 200% temporary armor when activating overdrive. When it is active, close kills restore armor. So you can see how Ronin is basically like a tank. Anything you do, you want to do it close, up close and personal, and if you do, you get rewarded in forms of like armor, melee damage, extra damage, movement speed, etc. The next skill is energizing kills. Close kills generate 3 overshield. Overshield acts as armor but decays over time, so an extra layer of defensives. Grand Slam. Close kills generate a shockwave that deals 25 damage and staggers nearby enemies. Damages diminishes the more enemies it passes through. So if you kill something, it'll create a shockwave, but then if that shockwave creates another shockwave, you can also do chain shockwaves, and if it goes in all directions, you can basically create an AoE clear. Now the 3 like semi-ultimate skills are Blade Master, Overshield Burst, and Stored Energy. Blade Master, damage to your overshield is converted into melee damage buff that lasts until you fire your weapon. The more damage, the greater the buff. So this is basically, if you're getting hit, you're gonna get a buff to melee damage, and if you fire a weapon, it goes away, you'll reset to 0, but the buff can stack up to 90%, and if it is at 90% and you get some of the melee damage perks and some of the other bonuses, you can basically one-shot enemies with a melee swing and dash to the next set of groups, and then just keep repeating that, and you get a really good clear speed. Next we have the Overshield Burst. When activating overdrive, expands your overshield to damage all nearby enemies. The damage is 5 times the amount of your overshield. This is a really good oh shit moment, where if you're getting swarmed and it looks like you're gonna die, you just hit your overshield. This will deal damage to everything around you. That will trigger shockwave, which will kill the next set of mobs, and if you dash while doing that, the shockwave will just continue. So you can combo quite a lot of these skills with Ronin's Grand Slam. The only downside about that is you have to be close to your enemy, and the range isn't far, as you'll see with some of the other characters coming on. And then we have Stored Energy. So Stored Energy, Overshield does not decay, and that applies to all players. You combine Stored Energy with Energized Pickups, which makes your Overshield pickups available for your allies, and it basically gives them an extra layer of armor, which gives them more survivability. So you can see how Ronin can play the support role as well as the damage dealer role. Now if we go over my current build, which is highlighted in blue, you have extra armor, You take less damage when you have overshield active. Your weapon upgrade is a katana, so a melee build. You have a higher chance to drop armor on close kills. You gain a damage boost for killing things at close range, and it can stack up to 5 times. After performing a dash jump on melee on a close kill, you can generate overshield. When you have armor or overshield, hits against you deal damage back to the enemy. So this is like a full armor type thing, and it's really useful. You can just kill enemies just by dashing through them. Next we have weapon damage type boosters. Also increase the close range damage of that weapon by 7%. You gain a movement speed and melee speed boost whenever you pick up overshield, can stack up to 3 times. Your close kills generate overdrive, and every time you visit a bar you can get close damage. So as you can see, the skill set is basically right next to your enemy, in your face, melee, like a barbarian type combat. And he's also got really good survival abilities, because if we go down to the bottom skill tree, you spawn armor pickups every time you return to the bar. Armor boosters gives you +1 max armor. Then you have, when you pick up armor, it restores overdrive charge and armor. Every time you visit the bar you get max armor. And then over here, every time you kill a enemy at close range, there is a chance that they drop some credits. So that is Ronin's kit. It's basically in your face melee combat build. Let's head over to Nomad. So if we go to Nomad skill tree, Nomad's overdrive is called auto aim. When overdrive is active, your weapon snaps to enemies' heads and bodies. Forget about what you're doing, hold left click and everything dies on the screen type ability, as long as they're not hiding behind obstacles. If you've played Warframe and remember the early days of Mesa, where you just pressed her ultimate and anything on screen would literally die, this is pretty much exactly the same thing, and I love it because Mesa was one of my favorite characters. But this combos well with some of the other skills that are in Nomad's tree. The next skill you have to pay attention to is orbital strikes. Call in a orbital laser strike when aiming and shooting enemies below you. It deals 80 damage per second and lasts for 2 seconds. So Nomad, you want to be up high and at a distance. And then we have crit damage, so it gives you 30% damage on crits. Then the 3 semi-ultimate skills are Leave No Trace, Orbital Automation, and Eyes in the Sky. Leave No Trace, your orbital lasers deal 300% damage if it is triggered by a crit. Orbital Automation, when your overdrive is active, aiming is not required to trigger your orbital lasers and they refresh 150% faster. And Eyes in the Sky, when aiming and shooting at a downed ally below you, uses a self-revive on them and they basically get revived at a distance. You combine it with this skill, which gives you damage boost when you revive an ally, combined with this, which gives you self-revives every time you return to the bar. And then this one, when you do it, it has a chance to not consume that self-revive. So you can be at a distance and res your allies as long as you can shoot them with your weapon. So Nomad has a fairly good support kit right there. But let's go over the current build that I am using. So I've got extra magazine capacity. Your bullets will also ricochet on crit. Your orbital lasers can follow your crosshair. You can upgrade your weapon to a DMR. Your orbital lasers last longer. Crits have a 100% chance to add +1 to your active weapon magazine. So basically when you have this active and you just crit a lot, your weapons will never run out of ammo and they'll constantly refresh. So if you have an auto weapon, you could just spam it for the whole duration of your overdrive. If you have a semi-automatic weapon, you have to keep pressing left click and just spam it as much as you can and everything will die as well. Then we head over to here. When aiming, you get a 25% damage boost and it resets on a crit. Your lasers scales with power damage. You mark your enemies and any marked enemy that hit, it will always be a crit. For this, you can trigger your Leave No Trace Behind, which can trigger your orbital laser, which can combo with your crit laser, which refreshes the duration with locked on and it will move to the next target. And if it dies, it can just go back between these 3 abilities and it just chains your lasers. And once you get good enough, you can have more than 1 laser going, so you just have insane damage on the board at all times and you're attacking at a distance from above as well. And Nomad is just so fun to play. It's currently the hero that I'm leading towards to recommending for new players, but it is really strong, so they might change it soon. Let's head over to the final character, which is Murmur. So let's go to her skill tree. Murmur's overdrive is Fade Away. During overdrive, become invisible to enemies and increase movement speed. All enemies are counted as being flanked. After image creates a hologram when you dash backwards, refreshes after 10 seconds, and flat-footed. The first time you deal damage to a flanked enemy, they are stunned for a second. An enemy is considered flanked if you are behind them. Murmur's 3 semi-ultimate skills are Crazy Slots, Hollow Swarm, and Quick Escape. So For crazy slots, your holograms spawn with a random weapon based on current threat level. Threat level means every boss you defeat, you go up a threat level. And if you've defeated the second boss and you're on threat level 3, these holograms can spawn rocket launchers and just chaos can ensue with just a bunch of explosions. And it combos really well with quick escape, because whenever your armor is broken, you create 5 holograms and that triggers once every 10 seconds. So you can basically just run into a group of mobs, trigger quick escape, dash out, get the boosts that come with dashing, trigger with them with weapons, combo with Hollow Swarm, which when your overdrive is active, your holograms refresh very fast, and dashing in any direction creates another hologram. So basically, you go in with quick escape, spawn the 5 holograms, they spawn a bunch of awesome weapons, and every time you dash and spawn more holograms, you're going to be spawning just damage on top of damage, and you're going to be progressing as well. You're never standing still, you're always on the move. So if we go here, you get a damage boost for creating a hologram, you get a damage boost for flanking enemies, your holograms last longer, you upgrade to a Commander SMG, which is a really good upgrade. It's got decent magazine capacity, it's an automatic weapon, and it fires really well. Then we have after images refresh every 4 seconds instead of 10, so your holograms spawn faster. Then when you're dashing, you get active weapon damage. So as you can see, Nomad is always on the go next to your enemy, flanking and getting damage buffs. Then you have a reload speed buff after dashing. You get health boosts, increase your damage against flanked enemies. Holograms deal 400% more damage. Kills while made dashing or shortly after build overdrive. You get damage boost against flanked enemies every time you visit the bar. Your holograms detonate a stun when they disappear, and they stun enemy for 5 seconds. So if you spawn them in the center of a mob pack and they disappear, they're all stunned, but by then they should be dead if you have all of these skills active. Then you have armor generates up to 50% max ammo after leaving combat. So you just basically do this, leave combat, trigger this, and the whole combo just repeats itself. Then we have you get more flank damage and damage reduction for each hologram active, and dashing shortly after taking damage grants overdrive. So basically, as a Murmur character, you just want to be on the move. You want to be shooting, meleeing, just dashing, creating holograms, breaking your armor, spawning the holograms, and just basically you're creating chaos. No pun intended. But yeah, Murmur creates a bunch of chaos on the map, and it is so fun to play. I was playing with Chaos. It's just so fun to see him play the game, because everything just dies. Now, if you guys want to know which character is currently meta, let's head over to the challenge run leaderboard. So as you can see here, the majority of the leaderboard is controlled by Nomads. You can see I'm rank 4 as a Nomad player. If you want Ronin tips, check out Brandflood75. He's another content creator, and he is the rank 1 Ronin player. I might get him on the video soon, but check out his channel. He shows you how to be competitive in the leaderboards as well. Chaos has not done his run, but him and Z.exe are competing for the #1 slot, and it's a good competition. I've seen like 1 week Z is in the lead, then Chaos becomes not rank 1, and this guy's giving Chaos a run for his money, but Chaos is still holding on with his Murmur character. Nomad right now is currently meta. It is the character that I would choose if I didn't have any characters already, because currently it's insanely fun to play. It has really good clear potential and kill speed, and it just outshines the other 2 classes compared to Ronin and Murmur. That's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully that was a fairly good champion selection guide. It showed you what each character is good at, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and how they play. As always, don't forget to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell, because it's free and it's the easiest way to support me as a content creator. And if you want to improve your challenge run timing, check out the video posted yesterday or a couple days ago, depending on when you watch this, on how to rank better in challenge runs. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next Web3 gaming.